Sutra 34 now. Or that calm is retained by the controlled exhalation or retention of the breath. Pranayama, controlled exhalation. Lengthening your exhalation creates relaxation response. Blowing out slowly. Ujjayi. And remember, soften in your nostrils. That controlled exhalation, not the although growling is a controlled exhalation, let me tell you. Controlled exhalation or retention of the breath. Slow down your breath, maybe hold your breath for a moment. And then, before you react, take a breath. It gives you pause before you respond. And that helps the mind retain its undisturbed calmness. Now, in the case of anxiety, I had to breathe into my solar plexus because it was knotted up right there. Nalini says when your solar plexus is queasy, uneasy, and knotted up, she calls it ego sickness. That's a bit of a harsh one. Ego sickness. We're only sad and depressed and anxious, she says, because you're worried about the future and how it's going to affect you, or you're depressed because you're stuck in the past and you can't let go of what you didn't have. And you're attached to those and you don't know how to let it go. But every day is a new day and everything passes. So in that state of anxiety, that is not the time to say, oh, you're a horrible person, you have ego sickness, you have a big ego. That is not the time to do that. I'm telling you this now when the mind is calm, so that you have knowledge of what? Unhappy? What's the key? Compassion. Okay, let's do some controlled breathing. Breathe into your solar plexus, break up those knots. And now blow. And again, breathe in. Breathe into the solar plexus. Break up those knots. Actually physically stretch your solar plexus. And blow out again. And hold your hands over your solar plexus. Make sure it feels safe because you have it. You've got yourself. You will look after yourself no matter what. Curl your knees up to your chest. Roll up to the side. Keep breathing. Okay, you're better. Now keep one hand over your solar plexus and use the other hand to push you into a seated position. Keep breathing. Okay, now stand up. This was the process I used when I had my panic attack. Whatever you are worried about in the future, you have no guarantee it's going to happen or it's not going to happen. And you have choices you can make today that is going to impact what happens tomorrow. Then the mind can retain its calmness. Or so this is now Sutra 35. Or the concentration on subtle sense perceptions can cause steadiness of mind. Sri Gurudev gives an example of concentrating the mind on the tip of the nose. If you concentrate your mind on the tip of the nose, your sense of smell becomes enhanced. If you concentrate on what you hear with your ears in the immediate vicinity and in the distance, you will enhance that sensory perception. By meditating and concentrating your mind on these sensory perceptions, you become calm. This is a meditation technique. Actually, all of these are meditation techniques that are designed to prevent these obstacles. Moving forwards, Sutra 36, or by concentrating on the supreme ever blissful light within. When I was in primary school, we learned this lovely song. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I love that song. I still sing it to this day. The universe is within me. All the knowledge of the world is within me. The divine light is within me. Use that as your object of concentration. Or, Sutra 37, or by concentrating on a great soul's mind, which is totally freed from attachments to sense objects. So maybe you don't have confidence in your own inner light. Maybe you have confidence in the light of your teacher or the person who you worship, be it Satguru or Lord Jesus or Lord Buddha or Mother Teresa. You focus your attention on somebody you know that has achieved the goal. And through that, through them, they can help you access your own inner light. They will reflect that light within you because you know that they love you unconditionally. They love you unconditionally. And that is enough to give you hope and calmness of mind. Next one, Sutra 38, or by concentrating on an experience had during dream or deep sleep. Sometimes when you are sleeping, you have these dreams that are so divine and visionary and uplifting. From time to time, I dream about my guru, and the whole dream is covered in light, and I wake up feeling so elated. Or even an experience you might have had once in your meditation that just makes you feel so good. Use those experiences as your objects of concentration in your meditation. If you haven't had any of those experiences, just imagine when you felt your most peaceful, your most happy. When we do creative visualization, people ask you, well, tell me about your happy place. Where is your happy place? And sure enough, you can be transported to one of the most meaningful, happy moments of your life. And that is good. Because when you concentrate on that happiness in the moment, that experience is enhanced and deepened, and the knowledge within that experience dawns within you. Or, Sutra 39, or by meditating on anything one chooses that is elevating. Did you hear that? So if somebody asks, what should I be meditating on? Meditate on anything you choose that is elevating. The key thing is that it has to be elevating, inspiring, divine. Anything you choose. And he talks about concentration, this practice of meditation. And he's given you a bunch of techniques of how to meditate, what to focus on. Focus on your breath, focus on your guru, focus on the light within, focus on an experience that you've had when you were sleeping, focus on a happy memory, or choose anything you want. Stick to one technique as much as possible. Stick to that one technique. And have a backup for a bad day when the storm comes. That's why Swami Satchidananda has the Integral Yoga Yantra. Truth is one, paths are many. I'm actually going to show you the one we have in the yoga studio. May I? This is the Integral Yoga Yantra. I'm going to move the camera back a little bit so you can see it. There we go. Yeah, that's okay. Now the whole thing is there. It's okay. The yantra shows you, so the center with the 4 gateways is a traditional Hindu yoga Sanskrit yantra. But the Integral Yoga Yantra has created all these different symbols. And the motto behind this yantra is truth is one, paths are many. And here you've got Hinduism, Judaism, Shintoism, Taoism, Buddhism, lesser known faiths. So it's a circle with little stars inside. Christianity, Islam, Sikhism, African faiths, Native American and indigenous faiths, and then all the belief systems that are yet to come or that we haven't heard about or that we don't know about. Anything one chooses that is elevating. So your yoga is not better than somebody else's yoga. Your brother's religion is not better than your cousin's religion, not better than your neighbor's religion, not better than the country next door's religion. All lead us to the same truth. So choose what is elevating to you. Even in the world of integral yoga in Hong Kong, every single one of the integral yogis has a different pie chart of how and combination of how they practice integral yoga. No 2 paths are the same. How can you compare it then? And how can you judge another's? Leads us to the last 2 sutras of this section. Sutra 40. Gradually, one's mastery in concentration extends from the primal atom to the greatest magnitude. So this means you can attract the whole world from the smallest atom. You can tap into your own creative power, the seed of potential that lies within you. You can tap into it. You are mastered in your concentration. You can, once you are mastered in your concentration on one technique, you can take that same concentration to anything in your life. The meditation that you have on your mat as part of your formal practice, you can take it to your work and use that same amount of concentration. What happens when your mind is one-pointed and the energy flows through it? It becomes like a laser. A laser is so sharp it can cut through anything. If your mind is scattered and you're trying to put energy towards something, it's not as powerful as it's not a powerful force. And this is why they say for yoga teachers that try to be all things to all people never get anywhere. But when they focus their mind on one thing, even 1 or 2 things, just specifically, that's when That's when they have the niche. That's when the people who resonate come to you. This is your power. And so your mastery in concentration extends from the minutest atom all the way up to the greatest magnitude. And that flow of cognition we spoke about with dhyana happens. So anything you meditate on will lead you to that infinite knowledge, anything. And by practicing and having the discipline to sit down daily and do it, it builds the spiritual muscles. If somebody were to come and insult you and go, boo, you don't cry, you can handle it. If somebody were to blame you and insult you and humiliate you, you've got the spiritual muscles to handle it. And that is the practice. That is the practice, to be able to have people look at you the way they want to look at you and be okay with it. And it leads us to our final sutra in book 1 that we're going to cover as part of this course. Sutra 41. Just as the naturally pure crystal assumes shapes and colors of objects placed near it, so the yogi's mind, with its totally weakened modifications, becomes clear and balanced and attains the state devoid of differentiation between the knower, the knowable, and knowledge. This culmination of meditation is samadhi. Imagine a clear crystal, an absolutely clear crystal. If I were to hold the crystal near my shirt, the crystal would appear to be white. If I were to hold it against Myrna's shirt, it would appear to be navy blue. If I were to hold the crystal near the yantra, it would appear to have many, many colors. Your mind, with its weakened vrittis, becomes clearer and clearer and clearer, so that somebody else's color reflects off your mind, but it is not your mind. So you may stand next to someone who is unhappy, and you may appear to have compassion and share in that unhappiness, but you are clear-minded, and you know you are clear, and you know that the crystal of your mind is just assuming and reflecting the colors around it. That's what it means. The naturally pure crystal assumes the shapes and colors of objects placed near it. So the yogi's mind, with its totally weakened modifications, becomes clear and balanced and attains the state devoid of differentiation between knower, knowable, and knowledge. Things reflect in the mind, but it bounces off. You are not affected by all the dualities and turmoil of the world. Why? Not because you don't care, but because you have a greater knowledge in that. A far greater knowledge. And this is why we say that our gurus heal us, but they don't. Sometimes, I think it was Nicola who said, your children hold up a big fat mirror to yourself. So does your guru. So does your teacher. They hold a big fat mirror so that you can see yourself. And as a teacher, that is your job. Nothing else. Give your students the tools to really see themselves. And you can only do that once you can really see yourself. Because again, you need to be that naturally pure crystal to reflect off of them. Remember, while I say it is completely up to you, don't think that you are alone in this. Just like our phone needs to be plugged in to be charged, we need to plug in to be charged to that infinite source of energy. That infinite source of spiritual energy is always there to guide us. That is why they say grace. The Guru's grace is the only way to reach enlightenment. Not because the physical person standing in front of you is the only person. No. You take that step. You have to make that step to plug in and connect. Like you are a radio receiver. You have to tune your frequency to receive the music. Or another analogy is Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna plays his flute. And the flute has to be completely hollow in order for the divine music to play. And our role is to be that flute, completely hollow and clear of any obstacles. Because if we were the flute and we decided we wanted to play our own tune, we are interrupting that flow of the divine. And again, this is where Ishvara Pranidhanam comes, faith. Faith. And even if you're still figuring out what your path is, keep going in that direction. Because you know you don't want to go there, so don't walk there. You kind of know you want to be in this general direction, walk towards that general direction. Guidance will come. And how do you know it's right? You will feel it in your heart and in your mind and in your body and in your spirit. It will just resonate. So this concludes our Yoga Sutra study for today. Do we have any questions before we close? Go ahead and unmute yourself if you do.
The talks that we're giving tomorrow.
Okay. Heavy stuff. I think you need to let it marinate and absorb and figure it out. So I'd like to close with the 3 Loka Samasta, Sukhino Bhavantu. But before we do, I just wanted to remind you
Hersha,
of the talk tomorrow. So please spend some time to prepare your talk. When you give the talk, it'd be nice for the other participants for you to actually identify which sutra it is and read it out in English. And then go into your talk. Okay? And if it's okay, I will be recording your talks just so that the other people watching the replays can listen to it. Okay, I think there is a question. Is there a structure for the talks? Yes. So yeah, so you introduce the sutra and you read it out. And then you basically share what was the aspect of the sutra that stood out for you, that resonated with you as something that you needed to work on or that made sense for you in your life. And what did you do? Did you make any changes in your life? Did you continue doing something or stop doing something or realize something? And if you have any notes of inspiration to your fellow students. So it's more of a casual reflection. In the teacher training, when you give the talks, you have to give 6 talks and then lead a question and answer session and facilitate a discussion. Then you have to more formally learn how to teach the sutras. But for the foundation course, there's no formality. The only thing is just identify the sutra, read it out. If it's a complicated sutra, explain it in your own words, what it meant to you, and then go into how you applied it or how it impacted you. Okay, does that make sense? So we'll do the talks on the second half of, so I have one more chunk of sutras, which is the last chunk. And these are like the fundamental life obstacles. So we've covered the mental distractions obstacles. Tomorrow morning, we're going to cover the fundamental life obstacles, take a break, and then start your talks. All right? Okay. Any other questions, comments?
Sorry.
Otherwise, just put it on the WhatsApp group.
I don't think
And Alice, I will add you to the WhatsApp group today.
I don't think she can hear us, so you have to put it.
Sitting up nice and tall, we'll close with the closing mantras. Please inhale. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May the whole world be filled with peace and joy, love and light. May our families, friends, and loved ones be filled with peace and joy, love and light. May all those who have hurt us and all those who are suffering be filled with peace and joy, love and light. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Thank you so much, and I will see you tomorrow at 9. And I will try my best to be on time. I'm so sorry about being late today. Have a beautiful afternoon. It is sunny now. Enjoy. Bye.